ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. See, one master said like this: why is it that we read, we listen, and we want to be the person aspired to be, but still trip up at every little hurdle or hurdles? Why is it that something still set us off? Why is it so hard that you have decided to be in a certain way, but you still fall in the old trap? There is a good news and bad news. The good news is it is possible. Self-transformation is reasonable aspiration. The bad news is that you cannot have it just by wanting it. You have got to be utterly patient and very persistent. If you are patient and persistent, transformation is always going to happen in tiny, immeasurable units. Rapid transformation, unless it is guided and unless you maintain it afterwards, is always short-lived. It won't stay there for long. But the transformation that you have earned, that you have imbibed, that you have gained over a period of time with sustained and persistent effort is going to stay with you. For example, imagine making yogurt from milk. So you take warm milk, you put curd in it, and then you cover it, and if you did it well, next day morning you will see that yogurt is formed. You are only seeing from milk to yogurt, but it has taken several hours. That transformation has occurred one molecule at a time. It is not that you have simply covered it and morning yogurt has formed. So perhaps having the right mentor or right guru who is really going to churn you, that is going to hurt, perhaps maybe having pains and aches and so on. So why transformation is so hard? Because not just a transformation, most things we are unable to achieve in life is usually because we just want to have them and not learn them or earn them. We just want to be in a certain way. In sinology, there is a circle called be, do, have. Be is what you want to be. People want to be rich, beautiful, attractive. People want to be knowledgeable. People want to be famous. People want to be different things. Do is what you have to do in order to have that. If you want to be rich, you want wealth. If you want to be famous, you need to have followers, and it is a disease. To crave for fame is the most self-consuming and the debilitating disease for spiritual growth. To want fame, that people should notice me, know me, it is a sure short way of boosting your ego in a negative way. And it leads me to the point of ego, because I heard from one of the discourses, from Trishna to Krishna, a beautiful thought. You really had only two hurdles. First is ego and the second is desire. When I say desire, it has two aspects: desire and lust in particular, that is experiencing sensual gratification. So there are only two hurdles. When it comes to lust, gratification of the senses is one, not so much even desire, and the second is ego, because the other 8 only occur if these two are out of control. See, if my ego is out of control, I am going to experience the other negative emotions. If my ego is in control, then it is a control center. You may have the finest brain, but if you really get drunk, you lose that coordination between movement and brain and get tripped. Similarly, when ego is not in control, you lose coordination between what you want to be versus what actually you are or what you should be. In this regard, I used repeatedly this phrase, elevate your consciousness. What does that mean? What do I mean when I say elevate your consciousness? For that, you really have to understand the nature of ego. Ego has a very peculiar property. Ego does not worry about things that actually may or may not matter. Ego worries about things that it feels important to it. My dear, please remember, ego does not worry about what it should worry about. Ego worries about what it wants to be worried about. And there are different levels of consciousness. At what level of consciousness you apply them, you apply to the ego, you will be worried about things accordingly. A great philosopher of Czechoslovakia talks about a beautiful concept in this regard. It is called rudimentary consciousness and higher consciousness. If you are walking on the side path of a road, a thief or a bad element comes from back and give you a hit on your head, you fall flat. You lose your consciousness. Till that moment, you were worried about many things of life like money, power, position, etc. You were worried about things important to the functioning of ego. Those are important to live your life. But now, when you are flat on the ground and this thief has taken your belongings, but you are not worried about it. You are just lying there because you are now operating in a different or act in a different level of consciousness. Having said that, your body has got a consciousness of its own. It has not stopped functioning. The things it should worry about, base ego, it is still working on those things. You are still breathing, maybe you are still bleeding, and your vital organs are just functioning, you are still alive. But imagine he has hit you a little hard and you are dead. The base ego also gives up. That consciousness also given up. So, if you can elevate your consciousness, ego transforms automatically. Some people are deeply insecure and some people are not so insecure because everybody is worried about different things. When you change your worry about in life, and your life will change. When you change your worry in life, and your life will also change. And that is the difference between chinta and chintan. Reflection is chintan, and just being concerned, being worried is chinta. When you can choose what you want to worry about, that becomes a reflection. When you don't choose but still you find yourself in web of thoughts, then that is chinta. And ego makes it look like everything is straightforward, but it is not. See, I read once that in a rural area on a countryside, two monks were standing, a guru and his disciple. Every time a car passes, they were holding a placard in their hands for display. Your end is near, we can help, wait. So, this is the placard. Some people in cars use it to speak through window glasses, rolling them down. You guys never stop preaching. You're always after money. You want to loot the people and so on. Stop all this nonsense, etc. So, nobody needs you here. So, they yell at them, rolling down the glass windows and move away. After they cross the geo, the monks used to hear a loud sound and thud of a car crashing. So the senior monk would say, it is a divine will, not much we can do about it. It is God's response. Once, twice, thrice, every time you hear the sound of a car crash, he will say it is God's will. And the junior monk says to the master, I agree it is God's will, my master, but don't you think that we should change our message? We should tell them, the people, the bridge's head is broken. We need to help them. They would really feel that we have to stop instead of displaying your end is near. Your end is near. It is a cryptic talk. So, the ego engages in cryptic talk only. Ego never lets you come out of that constant churning of feelings and thoughts, and that is where the problem is. When you elevate your consciousness, the attention of your ego shifts, and the way to awaken your consciousness is, I will not be jealous, I will be a good boy and will not be greedy. See, this kind of affirmations and resolutions do not work. Please remember. You once again put your attention on jealousy, then I will not be jealous. Then mind recognizes that, and so you will find yourself more jealous. So, the art and the skill is to shift your attention. Shift it, and then you will experience the emotion you are supposed to experience from the place where you are now focusing on. For example, if you are holding a spoon, it is very hot. So, it is made of stainless steel, dipped in some hot milk or water. So, you are holding that spoon in boiling water and you say to yourself, I do not know, I am not going to feel hot. Actually, I should not feel hot. Why I am feeling hot? But you feel hot. So, until I drop that thing and and hold on to something cooler or ice cube, you continue to feel heat as long as you hold that hot spoon in which heat is there. So, when we are feeling something that simply is a kind of meter that measures. See, so when you are feeling bad or negative emotions, you cannot beat over it. You cannot say why I am feeling these things, as I always thought that I am on the right path. Maybe I am doing good service, my behavior is good and all that. So, but that simply means you are holding on to the wrong thing at that time without analysis, without contemplation, without overthinking. Just simply shift your attention, and wherever you are shifting your attention to, and if that place is a beautiful place, if that place is inspirational, if that place is something you are excited about, you care about, you will find it easier to stay there. My place means my emotional place or mental place, my dear. But if that place is cluttered, so ego only worries about what it wants to worry about, not what it should worry about. So the point here is, there was one wife who was waiting for her husband at home in the evening. Usually the husband comes by 5:30 or so, but that day he has not come at 5:30, and so 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and whole night he didn't turn up at home. At that time there were no cell phones and all that, only land phones were there. So nobody, the husband could not give any communication to her where he was. In the morning, she received a phone call from her husband. Husband said, "My dear, I am in a hospital. When I am in office, I fell ill and I got a massive heart attack. So my colleague Sheila, she took me to the hospital, and I am in ICU now. So I have to stay here for about 6 to 7 days for recovery. So, but for Sheila, I could have lost my life." So the wife heard the talk of the husband and immediately inquired, "Who is Sheila? What the business she has got to shift you to hospital?" So there the wife ignored every other thing and only bothered about the woman who took him to hospital. So they are hearing and seeing what they want to see only. Similarly, we see only what we want to see in life. It happens all the time, my dear, concluded the master. So, thank you all.